Something just happened in hip-hop that nobody saw coming. And fans are still trying to process it. Because in the middle of what many believed was going to be a long, messy legal battle involving Drake, one unexpected voice stepped in and changed everything with just a single sentence. Yeah, you heard that right. One sentence. And that voice, none other than Joe Budden. Now here's where things get wild. Social media is going crazy after reports started circulating that Joe Budden allegedly made a statement short, direct, and brutally honest that may have completely shifted the narrative around Drake's rumored legal situation. Some people are saying it instantly killed the momentum behind the lawsuit. Others believe it exposed something deeper that fans weren't supposed to see. And somehow, in the middle of all this chaos, people are saying Kendrick Lamar came out on top. Fans are shocked. Emotions are running high. And the internet? Completely divided. Because depending on who you ask, this isn't just about a lawsuit anymore. It's about respect, reputation, and who really controls the narrative in hip-hop. Some fans believe Joe Budden's words hit so hard because they reflected what a lot of people were already thinking, but nobody was bold enough to say out loud. Others think it's being blown out of proportion, and nothing is actually confirmed. But here's the part that has everyone locked in. What exactly did Joe Budden say? And how could one sentence be powerful enough to shift a situation involving someone as calculated and strategic as Drake? Even more importantly, did Kendrick Lamar really win something behind the scenes, without even saying a word? Or is this all just a narrative that's spiraling out of control? One thing is clear, this story is deeper than it looks. And once you hear the full breakdown, you might start questioning everything. It all started with whispers. Quiet at first, almost easy to ignore. But in today's internet culture, whispers don't stay quiet for long. Within hours, conversations about Drake and a rumored legal situation began spreading across platforms, and suddenly, what seemed like speculation turned into a full-blown narrative. Now, to be clear, nothing was officially confirmed, but that didn't stop fans from reacting like something serious was unfolding behind the scenes. Some people believe Drake was preparing to take legal action over ongoing tension tied to music, commentary, and public perception. Others thought it was just another exaggerated rumor. Still, the timing felt too specific for fans to completely ignore. As the story began gaining traction, emotions started running high. Comment sections filled up instantly. Fans were arguing, debating, choosing sides without even having full information. Some were defending Drake, saying he has every right to protect his name and brand. Others questioned whether legal action, even rumored, fit into the competitive spirit of hip-hop. And that's when things took a dramatic turn. Because into this already heated conversation stepped Joe Budden. Now, if you know Joe Budden, you know he doesn't hold back. He's built a reputation on speaking openly, sometimes bluntly, about the industry and the people in it. So when clips began circulating of him addressing the situation, fans immediately locked in. It wasn't a long speech. It wasn't a detailed breakdown. According to social media, it was one sentence, short, sharp, and direct. And somehow, that one sentence sparked even more chaos than the rumors themselves. Fans are shocked at how quickly the narrative shifted. Some people believe Joe Budden said exactly what others were thinking, but didn't want to say publicly. Others think his comment was taken out of context and amplified by the internet. But regardless of which side people are on, one thing is clear: the impact was immediate. Suddenly, the focus wasn't just on Drake or the rumored lawsuit anymore. It was on Joe Budden's words and what they meant. And then, another name entered the conversation in a way nobody expected: Kendrick Lamar. Now Kendrick hadn't posted anything. No interviews. No statements. Complete silence. But somehow, fans began connecting his name to the situation. Some people think that Joe Budden's alleged statement indirectly positioned Kendrick as the winner in all of this. Others believe fans are stretching the narrative too far, creating connections that may not actually exist. Still, the idea spread fast. Because in hip-hop, perception matters just as much as reality. Fans started revisiting past moments, past lyrics, past tensions, trying to understand how Kendrick could be linked to something he hasn't even publicly addressed. Some believe this situation reinforces Kendrick's position as someone who doesn't need to speak often to have impact. Others think it's unfair to drag him into something that hasn't been confirmed in the first place. Meanwhile, Drake's silence only added more fuel to the fire. No response, no clarification, no denial. And in today's digital world, silence doesn't slow things down. It speeds them up. People started reading into everything. Old posts, old interviews, even body language from previous appearances. It became less about facts and more about interpretation. Social media is going crazy. One fan wrote, "If one sentence can shift everything like this, imagine what's really going on behind the scenes." Another said, "This feels bigger than what we're being told." And that's the energy right now, uncertainty mixed with intensity. Some fans are convinced that Joe Budden's comment exposed a deeper truth about how things are handled behind closed doors. Others believe it's all being exaggerated for attention and engagement. But here's what makes this situation so gripping. Nobody actually knows what's real. There's no official statement confirming a lawsuit. No verified explanation of Joe Budden's exact words in full context. And no response from Kendrick Lamar at all. Yet somehow it feels like something major just happened. And that's what has the entire culture watching closely. Because if a single sentence can shift perception this quickly, what happens next could change everything even more. Then the situation took a turn that nobody could have predicted. And this is where everything started to feel way more serious than just internet chatter. What was already building as a heated conversation suddenly exploded into full-scale debate, with fans dissecting every angle of what Joe Budden supposedly said. The sentence, whatever version people believed, began spreading in different forms, slightly altered, slightly reworded, but always carrying the same sharp energy. And the more it circulated, the more people started treating it like a defining moment rather than just commentary. Some fans believe Joe Budden didn't just speak on the situation. They think he reframed it. According to social media, his words may have shifted the focus away from Drake entirely and turned the spotlight onto something deeper, like power, influence, and how narratives are controlled in hip-hop. Others strongly disagree, saying people are reading too much into one statement and turning it into something bigger than it actually is. But regardless of where people stand, one thing is clear: emotions are running high, and the conversation isn't slowing down. Meanwhile, Drake's name continued trending, but now the tone had changed. Earlier, fans were questioning the rumored lawsuit itself. Now they were questioning how it could be perceived after Joe Budden's comment. Some people think Drake may have been put in a difficult position, where even silence could be interpreted in multiple ways. Others believe he's completely unbothered and letting the internet talk itself in circles. But that uncertainty, that's what kept everyone locked in. And then came the reactions. Clips of podcasts, reaction videos, and live stream breakdowns started flooding timelines. Everyone had an opinion. Some creators were saying, "That one sentence just ended everything." Others pushed back, arguing, "Nothing is confirmed, this is all speculation." But the more people talked, the bigger the moment felt. Fans are shocked at how quickly things escalated without any official confirmation from anyone involved. At the same time, the conversation around Kendrick Lamar grew even louder. And this is where things got really interesting. Because Kendrick still hadn't said a word. Yet somehow, his presence in the narrative felt stronger than ever. Some fans believe Joe Budden's alleged statement indirectly elevated Kendrick's position, almost like reinforcing the idea that he doesn't need to engage in public back and forth to maintain control of his image. Others think that's a stretch, arguing that Kendrick is being inserted into a situation he hasn't even acknowledged. Still, the perception kept spreading. People started saying things like, "Kendrick won without even showing up." Others responded, "Won what? Nothing even happened." And just like that, the fan base became divided into completely different interpretations of the same situation. That division only made everything louder. Arguments broke out across platforms. Threads turned into debates. Debates turned into full-blown online battles. Some fans were defending Drake's approach, saying legal action, if it were real, would simply be a business move, not a weakness. Others argued that even the idea of it changes how things are viewed in a competitive space like hip-hop. And in the middle of all this noise, Joe Budden's role kept getting bigger. Some people think he knew exactly what he was doing when he made that statement. Others believe he was simply giving his honest opinion, not expecting it to blow up like this. But whether intentional or not, his words became the center of the storm. Even people who weren't initially paying attention started tuning in. That's how powerful the moment became. There were even unconfirmed reports floating around suggesting that industry insiders were watching closely, trying to see how this narrative would evolve. Now again, nothing is verified, but fans are running with it, adding another layer of intrigue to an already complex situation. Some believe there could be behind-the-scenes reactions happening that the public isn't seeing. Others think that idea is just fueling the drama even more. But here's what makes everything feel so intense right now. No one has stepped in to clarify anything. No official statements. No direct responses. No confirmation or denial. And instead of slowing things down, that silence is making everything louder. Because now, every theory feels possible. Every interpretation feels valid to someone. And every small detail is being treated like it could reveal the truth. Social media is going crazy, and the narrative keeps evolving by the hour. One moment, people are focused on Joe Budden's words. The next, they're debating Drake's silence. Then suddenly, Kendrick Lamar is trending again without even speaking. It's unpredictable. It's chaotic. And it's pulling everyone deeper into the story. At this point, it's no longer just about what was said. It's about what people believe was meant. And that difference, that's where the real tension is building. Now the situation isn't just trending. It feels like it's boiling over. What started as one sentence tied to Joe Budden has now turned into a full-blown cultural moment, and the deeper people look into it, the more complicated it becomes. Fans aren't just reacting anymore. They're emotionally invested. You can feel it in every comment, every reaction video, every heated debate online. And at the center of it all, the pressure surrounding Drake has reached a completely different level. Because now, people aren't just asking whether the rumored lawsuit was real, they're asking what it would have meant if it was. Some fans believe that even the idea of legal action shifts how Drake is perceived in a competitive space like hip-hop. Others are pushing back hard, saying business decisions shouldn't be confused with artistic credibility. And that clash of opinions? It's what's making everything feel so intense. At the same time, Joe Budden's words continue to echo through the conversation. Different versions of that one sentence are still circulating, and each version seems to hit people differently. Some listeners feel like it was a reality check, something that cut through the noise and exposed a truth people didn't want to admit. Others think it was just commentary that got blown out of proportion by a hungry internet looking for drama. But whether people agree or not, they keep coming back to it, replaying it, analyzing it, debating what was really meant. And then there's the emotional divide. Fans are not on the same page right now, far from it. One side is saying, "This just proved everything we've been thinking." The other side is saying, "Y'all are creating a narrative out of nothing." The family of hip-hop fans, in a sense, feels split. You can see it in how people are talking to each other, less discussion, more confrontation. Emotions ran high, and suddenly what started as a rumor feels like a personal argument between entire fan bases. Meanwhile, Kendrick Lamar continues to be the quiet center of it all. No posts, no reactions, no involvement, at least not publicly. But somehow, that silence has become louder than anything else happening. Some fans believe Kendrick's lack of response is intentional, almost like he understands that saying nothing allows the narrative to grow on its own. Others think it's coincidence, that he has nothing to do with this and people are forcing his name into the conversation. But regardless of the truth, his presence is being felt without a single word. People are saying things like, "He doesn't even have to move, he's already winning." And that statement alone has sparked another wave of debate. Winning what? That question doesn't have a clear answer. But it hasn't stopped fans from arguing about it like it does. At the same time, Drake's silence is being interpreted in completely different ways. Some fans think he's choosing not to respond because there's nothing real to address. Others believe he's waiting for the right moment to speak, or move, in a way that shifts everything back in his favor. But until that happens, the silence is creating space for more theories, more speculation, and more tension. And then came another twist. A few unconfirmed reports began circulating online suggesting that people close to the situation might be reacting privately. Now again, nothing is verified. But social media ran with it instantly. Some fans believe there could be behind-the-scenes conversations happening, where the real emotions and real reactions are being kept away from the public. Others think that idea is just adding another layer of drama to something that's already out of control. Still, the possibility alone is enough to keep people locked in. Because if something is happening behind the scenes, it would explain why everything feels so charged without any direct confrontation. And that's the strangest part of all this. There's no diss track, no public argument, no direct conflict. Yet somehow, this feels like one of the most intense moments in recent hip-hop conversation. That's because it's no longer about actions, it's about perception. What people believe is happening has become just as powerful as what's actually happening. And right now, belief is driving everything. Fans are refreshing timelines non-stop, watching for any sign, any hint, any shift. Because at this point, everyone feels like something has to happen. The tension has built too high. The conversation has gone too far. And the longer it stays unresolved, the more intense it becomes. Right now, the culture feels like it's standing on edge, waiting for one move, one statement, one moment that finally brings clarity. But until that moment comes, the confusion, the debate, and the emotion will only keep growing. And just when it felt like the situation couldn't get any more intense, everything reached a strange, almost surreal peak. Not because of a clear answer, not because someone finally spoke out, but because the silence itself started to feel like a statement. The tension surrounding Drake, Joe Budden, and Kendrick Lamar had grown so loud that even the smallest shift in tone felt like a major development. Fans began noticing something subtle but powerful. The conversation wasn't slowing down, it was evolving. At first, it was about whether the rumored lawsuit even existed. Then it became about what Joe Budden said. Then it shifted to who won. But now it feels like the entire narrative has turned into something bigger than any one moment. It's about perception, legacy, and control. And this is where everything starts to feel like a turning point. Because despite all the noise, there's still no confirmation of anything. No official legal documents. No public statements from Drake. No direct response from Kendrick. And Joe Budden? He hasn't stepped back in to clarify or expand on what he said, at least not in a way that settles anything. Yet somehow, people are acting like a conclusion has already been reached. Fans are shocked. Some are saying, that one sentence ended everything. Others are pushing back, saying, nothing ended, nothing was even confirmed. And right there, you can see the divide clearly. People aren't just reacting to facts anymore, they're reacting to interpretations. And those interpretations are getting stronger. Some fans believe Drake has taken a calculated step back, choosing not to engage because responding could give more life to something that may not even be real. Others think his silence is strategic, like he's waiting for the perfect moment to flip the narrative completely. But as time passes without a response, the speculation only grows louder. Meanwhile, Kendrick Lamar's position in all of this continues to feel almost untouchable. No involvement. No statements, no visible reaction. And yet, some fans are convinced this moment somehow works in his favor. They believe that staying silent while everything unfolds reinforces his image as someone who doesn't need to speak often to make an impact. Others strongly disagree, saying this entire idea of him winning is being created out of thin air. Still, the perception hasn't slowed down. People are saying things like, he didn't have to do anything, that's the point. And that idea alone has kept his name trending alongside a situation he hasn't even addressed. Then there's Joe Budden, the man who, according to social media, sparked this entire shift with just one sentence. Some fans are praising him, saying he cut through the noise and said what needed to be said. Others are criticizing him, arguing that his words added confusion instead of clarity. But whether people agree with him or not, his role in this moment is undeniable. Because without that statement, this might not have escalated the way it did. And now here we are, at the peak of a situation built almost entirely on speculation, perception, and emotion. No confirmed facts, no clear timeline, no definitive answers. But somehow, it feels like something important just happened. That's what makes this moment so unique and so powerful. It's not about what we know, it's about what people believe. And right now, belief is driving the entire culture into debate. There are even unconfirmed whispers suggesting that people within the industry are watching closely, analyzing how quickly narratives can shift with just a few words. Again, nothing is verified, but fans are running with it, adding even more depth to an already layered situation. Some believe this moment will pass just as quickly as it came. Others think it's the beginning of something bigger, something that could eventually lead to real responses, real music, or real confrontation. But as of right now, everything remains unresolved. The questions are still there. Did Joe Budden really end anything? Was Drake ever truly involved in something legal? And did Kendrick Lamar actually gain anything from this moment? Or is that just perception? No one knows for sure. And maybe that's the point. Because in a world where attention moves fast and narratives change even faster, sometimes the biggest moments aren't defined by what happens, but by what people think happened. And right now, that thought alone is louder than anything else. So here we are, at the end of a story that somehow feels unfinished. A situation where one sentence, allegedly spoken by Joe Budden, shook the entire conversation around Drake, and somehow placed Kendrick Lamar right in the center of it without him even saying a word. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the culture? Completely divided. Some people believe Joe Budden ended the narrative before it even had a chance to grow. Others think nothing actually ended because nothing was ever confirmed in the first place. And then there are those who truly believe Kendrick won something here. Even though there was no official battle, no response, no direct involvement. And that's what makes this whole situation so crazy. It's not about facts anymore, it's about perception. Did Drake really face a situation that needed shutting down? Did Joe Budden's words actually shift the industry conversation? Or did the internet take one moment and turn it into something much bigger than reality? And the biggest question of all, did Kendrick Lamar really come out on top? Or is that just what people want to believe? Now I'm not gonna lie. This is one of those moments where the comments section might be even crazier than the story itself. So I need you to tap in. What do you think really happened here? Drop your honest opinion in the comments. Don't hold back. If you think this was all strategy, say that. If you think it's all overblown, say that too. And if you've been locked into this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because the second anything becomes confirmed, you already know we're breaking it down first. Stay tuned because this story, it might not be over just yet.